All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Restore 45. We're going to be working our hips this evening. So we're going to start on our backs in a constructive rest pose. So constructive rest, our knees are together, our feet are apart. Arms can be at your side, out to a T, or anywhere else that's comfortable for you. The knees together, releasing your SI joint, your sacroiliac joint. Once you've arrived in this pose, start to slow everything down. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of how you feel. Notice tightness or tension that you might be holding. Take a huge breath in through your nose. Fill up your belly. Exhale, let it go. Do that again. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. From this position, toe heel your feet in so your feet and your knees are about hip width distance apart. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. If your arms aren't out to a T, bring them out to a T. Walk your heels in just a little bit closer to your bottom. And we're going to inhale, let our knees fall to the right. Exhale back to center. Inhale, let them fall to the left. Exhale back to center. So a nice gentle supine twist to your breath. Inhaling down, exhaling to center. Just going to let you do a few of those on your own to your own breath. While you're doing that, notice your low back, notice your hips. Make sure you're breathing. No rush here. And wherever you are, one more time to each side, your breath. No rush to get there, but we'll meet back in that bridge prep pose. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. Bring your right knee into your chest. Bring your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Double knees to chest here. If you want to roll around on your low back, give it a little massage. Feel free to do that. If you want to pause in some stillness, feel free to do that. Notice where you feel this. Do you feel it in your low back? Do you feel it in your glutes? Do you feel it in your groin and your hip flexors? Take a breath in. Exhale it out. Inhale, keep the right knee into chest. Exhale that left leg out. So single knees to chest. Notice how it changes it. You can take some circles with your ankle clockwise and counterclockwise, loosening up that joint. Yeah, hearing those cracks and those pops. Take a breath in. Let it go. Inhale, bring your left knee back in. Stay for a breath. And release the right leg. Coming into single knees to chest on this side. You can roll through your ankle on the left foot. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring that right knee back in on your inhale. Take a breath. Let it go. From here, grab your outside of your feet if you can for happy baby. It's pretty early, like too tight to do that. If you can't grab the outside of your feet, grab your calves, grab your hamstrings. Again, I like to rock and roll here. Find some movement. If you like stillness better, take that. Notice where you feel this. Hamstrings, inner thighs, low back possibly, hip flexors. And take a breath in here. Side out. Keep the right foot into the right hand, but release that left foot. So options here, you can have the left knee bent up, you can have it out straight, a little bit deeper, or half butterfly, whichever feels best. So 3 options for that uninvolved leg. Do whatever feels best for the right leg. Not pushing it, not forcing it. Make sure you're breathing. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. Bring that left leg back up for both feet and happy baby, or both legs, and wherever you're binding. It's totally fine. And we will drop the right foot down to whatever position you'd like to drop it to. Out straight, half butterfly, or bent up. You'll notice, you'll know which one feels best for you. Take a huge breath in. Exhale it out. Release the left foot back down. Bend both your knees up towards the ceiling. Grab your block. Mine's pretty far away, so I gotta sit up and get it. So grab your block. Lift your hips up and place your block underneath your sacrum. So we're going to do a gentle, gentle, gentle hip flexor release. The hip flexors are on the front of our hips. It's your iliopsoas and your rectus femoris. So we're going to bring the right knee into chest here. And from here, we're going to straighten that left leg. And notice if a big curve in your lumbar spine occurred, try to keep that out. It's just a gentle hip flexor release of the leg that's out. You might not feel a whole lot of anything. You might feel something. We'll get into these a little bit deeper later on in our class. And take 2 more breaths here. And on your next inhale, bring the left knee back in. And we will straighten through the opposite leg, the right leg, if that's what you're doing. For our hip flexor release on this side. And it's always good to notice those side-to-side differences. Maybe you feel it more on this side, maybe you don't. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And that bottom leg that's out straight, bend it up so it's half bent, half bridge. Release the left leg for your bridge. Pause here. Take a breath. Let it go. Lift your hips up an inch or 2 to remove the block. And grab one of your balls. So you guys can just stand on your backs. We are going to get into our glute med. So you're going to find that iliac crest, that hip bone, and come not quite to the side, but in between the side hip and the low back. We're going to lie back down on it. So this is one of your external rotators. It's not your gluteus maximus. It's called the medius. And from here, you're going to open up that same side leg. So I've got it on my left hip. And I'm opening up, yeah. So we're just gonna pause here. And if you need to make some adjustments, if you're not feeling a whole lot of anything, go ahead and make some adjustments. You should feel a little bit of something, a little trigger point, a little tightness. We're just gonna pause here in this compression. Let that muscular tissue, that tissue just melts over the ball. So we've been here for a few breaths, and we're going to slowly make our way into more of a twist to that left side. And we're going to let the right leg twist a little bit more, adding some compression, adding more compression onto the ball. Just pausing there. If it's too much, come back to where you were. We'll pause for a few breaths here. And if you want, and if you can, try to turn a little bit more to that ball. It might move the ball a smidgen, and that is okay. If it's too tender to do that, don't do it. Stay where you were, or move off of it. Softness around the ball. Breathe into it. Let go of that bottom leg. Maybe you're holding on to it. There's a little bit of tenderness there. So try to soften it. Release it. Take a huge breath in. Side out. Do that again. Big breath in. Let it go. One more time. Big breath. Exhale it out. We'll make our way back to center. Remove the ball, but keep it handy. Grab your strap. We'll start with a hamstring stretch on that same side you just rolled out, just released. We'll start with a hamstring stretch. So the strap goes around the ball of the left foot or whatever foot you're stretching. And again, that bottom, that uninvolved leg can be wherever you want it. Half butterfly, bent up or out straight. Notice that hamstring and how it feels. Use the breath. That breath is being held. You're probably a little too deep into this stretch. Back off. And we will take 5 more breaths here in this hamstring stretch. Huge breath in. Exhale it out. You place both ends of the strap into the right hand. You're going to let that left leg fall over to the right, crossing the midline, wherever it can go, whatever leg you're doing. Doing your right. Take 5 more breaths here. Breathe in. Exhale out. Come back to center. Bend the knee, remove the strap, but keep it handy. Bend the opposite leg up. Pause there, notice. Notice the side you just worked. Notice the side you haven't yet. Take a huge breath in. Exhale it out. And we're going to switch sides. Just swing around here. So we're going to come to that glute medius on the right side. So find that spot. Not quite on the outer hip, but just inside. A little closer towards your glutes. You're going to let that same side leg open up. Notice. If you need to make some adjustments of the ball, go ahead and do that. We'll take a few more breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. And if you're ready and you want to, get a little bit deeper by getting more into a twist onto that ball. Softness around it, let that tissue go. A few more breaths here, and we'll go just a little bit deeper into a twist if you want. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and do that. Not something you have to do. Yeah, good. 3 more breaths. Take a huge breath in. Exhale it out. Come back to center. And just move your ball towards the other one. We're going to use both of them in a little bit. Grab your strap and get into our hamstring stretch on this side. Again, decide what you want to do with that uninvolved leg. Let's take 4 more breaths. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Place both ends of the strap in the opposite hand to foot, and we're going to come into that adduction, stretching our outer hip here. If you like, you can bring the opposite arm up to a T, so you're in a nice twist as well. Take 5 more breaths here. Breathe in. Exhale it out. Nice. Coming back to center when you're ready. Bend your knee. Ditch the strap. Grab one block and place it on the outside of your mat. So if it's on the right side of your mat, it doesn't matter what side because we're going to do both sides. So just a side. And grab one of your balls, and we're going to come onto our side, turn towards the block, and we're going to release our adductors, our inner thigh muscles, and we're going to place the ball on the block, and then find those groin, that inner thigh muscle, start a couple inches down below my groin, and you'll feel it. So we've got a couple of options here. I kind of like to rest my head in my hand, and then I just kind of go back and forth along those adductors, just leaning into it. If you want to pause on a spot that can be really tender, you can do that, or you can just do a little bit of that rolling. You can even bend and straighten your knee. If that feels good, you can just pause here. You're going to try to soften around the ball. Notice as you soften, it gets a little deeper. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Breathe in, breathe out, and release yourself up off of the block and the ball. And we're going to turn onto our bellies. And we're going to stretch that area. So we're on our bellies. You can come into Sphinx pose here. We're gonna come into half frog. So our hip is at 90 degrees and our knee is at 90 degrees. It's a nice gentle release of those adductors. If you don't like it up here in space pose, you don't have to stay. You can lower all the way down, stack your hands and rest your forehead there. That's up to you and whatever feels better. For me, this is a little deeper and I like it, but you might not like it at all. Try and let those hips melt towards the mat a little bit more. We'll take about 3 more breaths here and then add a variation on to go a little bit deeper. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, if you can and you want to, you can straighten through that knee. So our legs are in an L position. It's a little deeper, so if you don't like it or it doesn't work, don't do it. Just stay back in that half frog. We'll take 4 more breaths. Breathe in. Exhale out. Nice. If your leg is out straight, go ahead and bend it. And then we're going to roll onto our side again and switch sides. So I'm just going to turn my body. You guys don't need to. You can just roll to the other side of your mat. And we're going to use our block and our ball to get into our adductors, adductors. There's really no right or wrong here. It's finding spots that you need to work out and release. Again, you've got those options. You can roll the ball along the inner thigh. You can pause. You can straighten that leg and bend it. Whatever feels good to you. Just play around, notice, see what feels right, see what feels needed. We'll take 4 more breaths here. That last one, make it a big breath in. And exhale all the way out. Nice. And remove the block and the ball. We'll come into that half frog on this side. So hip and knee are at a 90-degree angle. And you can be up on those forearms for your space pose if that feels good. Or you can lower yourself all the way down onto your forearms. Notice and see is that hip that you've got in half frog way high up in the sky. See if you can lower it just a little bit more toward the mat. It may or may not. Shoulders out of your ears if you're in space pose. If it feels good and you like it, here you stay here. If you want, you can straighten through that leg. So your legs are in an L shape. Take a few more breaths. And one more big, huge breath in. Exhale out. Nice. Your knees out straight, bend it. You make your way back to both legs behind you. Stack your hands, rest your forehead there, wiggle your hips side to side. So in this prone position on your belly, we're going to get both balls. So grab both balls. We're going to release our hip flexors. So you've got your hip bones here, your hip flexors attached on your ASIS, and you're going to place the balls. You're going to find those bones here, and then they're going to go on the inside, and then you're going to lay down off that. So I kind of like to do one at a time. Find it, roll down. The other one, and roll down. And then I come back to that crocodile pose with my hands stacked in my head there. So they should be just medial, just inside your hip bones. We've got a couple options here. If you're on the tops of your feet, you can try to curl your toes under and notice that gets you a little deeper into those balls. If that doesn't feel good, come to the tops of your feet. The other option is you can come back to Sphinx pose on your forearms and you'll go a little deeper. So you can try any of those variations. If you want, you can curl your toes under and make a few adjustments by lowering the balls or bringing them up a little bit higher. Just kind of noticing. You can always make adjustments. We'll just take a few more breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you're up, lower yourself down. Lift one hip up, remove the ball. Lift the other hip up, remove the ball. And you can ditch them. We're not going to use them anymore. And from here, we're going to push ourselves back into a child's pose. Settle your hips in. Roll your forehead along the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nice. Inhale yourself up to a tabletop. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up, and come to a downward facing dog. Softness through your knees. Spread your fingers wide. We came into this downward facing dog to get into a low lunge to stretch our hip flexors. Look between your hands. Step your right foot to the top between your hands and drop to your lower knee. So I like to use a block here, or blocks. And we're getting into that left hip flexor. If you want to put your blocks at the top, you can. One on each hand, that's fine. Mine's just away from me. If you want to come to the top of your foot, that back foot you can, or you can even have it curled under if you want to get a little bit of a arch stretch, a foot stretch there. So we're trying to bring our left hip forward, our right hip back, really getting into that left hip flexor. Shoulders out of your ears. Notice if you're getting a little deeper, now that we've been here for a few breaths. Take a huge breath in, fill up. Exhale it out. Big breath in. Let it go. One more breath. Let it go. And gently, we're going to straighten through that front leg, coming into a hamstring stretch called half monkey. And I like to keep my blocks here also. So some people can come all the way down onto their heel. My knee won't let me do that on this side. Too many knee surgeries. Pull your toes towards your shin on the side that you're stretching your hamstring. Notice where you feel this. Do you feel it all the way down to your foot? Do you feel it up in your low back? Feel it right in that hamstring. Take a huge breath in. Side out. Bend through that front leg. Place the blocks to the side. Curl your back toes under. Make sure those hands are on your mat. Lift your back knee. Step back into it and facing dog. Good. And when you're ready, look between your hands. Step your opposite foot there for your hip flexor stretch on this side. Top of the foot, toes curled under, it doesn't matter. Swing your foot out just a little bit more. That top foot, there we go. Not so much stress on that knee. Huge breath in. Exhale it out. Do that again. Breathe in. Let it go. One more time. Big breath. Exhale. Gently make your way by straightening that front knee into your half monkey. And what can you do on this side? A few breaths here. Goes towards your shin. Back, good. 3 more breaths here. Breathe in. Exhale out. Bend through that front knee again. Place the blocks to the side, hands down to the mat. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee. And we're going to step back to downward facing dog one more time. You can walk it out. Breathe in. Let it go. And drop to your knees. We're going to come onto our backs. Take your time getting there. No rush. So onto your backs, knees bent up. Bring both knees back into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And take the left hand on the top of the right shin, close to the knee. Let the left leg fall out to a half butterfly. So it's a single knees to chest with our uninvolved leg in a half butterfly. And we're going to take our hand that's open and bind on the top of our left foot. So it's a single knees to chest with a bind. Yeah. If you can't reach the foot, don't worry. Just you can use your strap if it's available. So let's get a really great quad stretch in with our single knees to chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Gently release the bind. Bring that opposite knee back into your chest. Give yourself a hug. You can rock and roll on your low back, go side to side. And we will switch sides. So the right hand to the left knee, the left shin. And take your bind on the opposite leg with the opposite hand for your bind here, your quad stretch here. And straps are great to use if you need them. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Do that one more time. Big breath. Let it go. Release the bind. Bring that knee back in. Give yourself a hug. And we will find happy baby one more time. Grab the outside of your feet. Notice the ease in which you got to your happy baby compared to the beginning of class. Take a huge breath in. Exhale it out. Release the bind. Let your feet fall to the mat. So you should have a block pretty close by. Grab it and place it underneath your tailbone, your sacrum. One more time. Bring your right foot off the mat. Bring your left foot off the mat. Straighten through those legs. Hands by your sides for Viparita Karani. Legs up the wall. Let your upper body get really heavy. Let go of any effort you're holding. Just a couple more breaths here. And bend your knees. Bring your feet back to the mat for a restorative bridge breath pose. Stay for a breath. Exhale it out. Lift your hips up just an inch or two to remove the block. Lower your hips back down. Bring your knees together, your feet apart. For your constructive rest pose. Notice any changes here, right where we started. If you want to spend the last minute or so of your practice here in this pose, stay. If you'd like to bring your legs out in front for your Shavasana, you can do that also. So you decide where you'd like to go. Wherever you go, stillness, softness, and let go of everything. Start to wiggle fingers, toes, all around through your wrists and your ankles. When you're ready, put your knees back into your chest for one last final hug. A hug for showing up, a hug for taking care of you. Breathe in, breathe out. Roll to the left side and pause there. Pause for a breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale it all out your mouth. And with as little effort as possible, make your way back to an easy seat. On your mat. Hands on your knees. Palms up. No rush to get there. Take your time. You can have your eyes closed if you want. You can keep them open. Spine nice and tall. Breathe in. Breathe out. Release your hands down by your sides. If your eyes are closed, blink them open. Inhale, arms up. Exhale them to your heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thumbs to third eye. Thank you all so much for joining me here and joining me there. Your presence is always a gift. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Happy Thursday, almost Friday.